Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of On the Mic with Mike. I'm your host, Mike Larkin, and joining me today, she'll be taking on Bella Inc. on October 9th in a cat fight showdown, the one and only Miss Sunny Ray. How you doing, Sunny?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited for what we're all going to see on October 9th, yourself against the one and only Miss Bella Inc. First and foremost, how are you feeling going into this? This is going to be a really big deal coming down.
Um, I'm pretty excited, a little bit nervous. I've been upping my training a little bit, so that's really all I can do at this point, but I'm very excited for it.
Well, it certainly does show and encompass with your work and how you're looking as far as from the mental and physical side of things. So you're doing an amazing job on that front. But I will say this as well, Miss Sunny, where you're going against someone in Bella Inc., sessions wrestler, fetish model, a badass in her own right. And I mean, being produced by the one and only Sarah Brooke, amazing fighter and own toughness in the catfighting world. How does that make you feel? You also got Sarah Brooke involved in this project.
I am honored all the way around. Sarah Brooke, her alone, being able to work with her and then adding Bella Inc. into it, I'm completely honored to be working with both of them.
I look at it from a stance too as well. Now we do have the rules for this said cat fight. We have hair pulling, we got face slaps, we got tit and pussy attacks, we got body punches, face sitting, no holds, no joint locks, no biting, start in two pieces, fully made ending. Boom. It is a production all in itself. It writes itself. It's the overall craft. So I gotta say that right there shows the encompassing of what a great cat fight's gonna be. What do you think about the rules going into it?
I love it. I think they're perfect. Yeah.
I think they really fit the representation of the presentation, and I think what we're also going to get as well. Now that you're no stranger to cat fights here, I'm talking about sweet fights with Vika. Like you have that overall intangible, like a lot of ladies do, to really showcase a lot of great chemistry with your opponents.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So let's talk about that first as well. Sweet fights, you did your thing with Vika, being a part of that cat fight, and Sweet Fights has put on a lot of great cat fights in their own right. Let's talk about that bout. How did that feel going into that encounter?
Oh, that was nerve-wracking. I had never done anything like that before. I always joked about like getting into like fighting. So once I kind of told my family and my friends that I was going to be doing a cat fight, they were like, "That's perfect for you. You have a little bit of anger issues, a little bit of temper. You're strong. This is perfect for you." Yeah, and it was awesome. It was great. She put up a great fight. I'm glad she got her first one or win. Um, Hopefully there's a rematch in next year or two. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, it was a great experience all around.
I mean, I look at it from a stance too as well. When you have that, and like we were talking about that intangible, but that overall physicality that you show, and I've seen your work. We'll get into the modeling as well. I think you have to have that because we're talking about representation of your presentation, your overall craft. At the end of the day, it's a mixture of sex appeal, sensuality,
Mm-hmm.
at the same time. Catfighting is badassery, and I think a lot of people sleep on what the catfight industry really brings to the table.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely, definitely. I think it's a mix, like you said, like a mix of sexiness, but also strength and beauty coming into it in play into play as well.
I'm going to date myself here. So back in the day, this also encompasses some wrestling. For those that remember the Miller Lite Catfight Girls, that was my early introduction to see some catfighting. For those who remember the commercials with football and the Miller Lite Catfight Girls, that was like the overall thing, like big back in the 2000s. So that was like my first introduction. I don't know if you remember the Miller Lite Catfight Girls, but my goodness gracious, talk about sensuality and overall make
Ooh,
catfight, right?
I'll have to look them up. I haven't seen that before.
It was a big deal for like football. Like when Miller Lite used to sponsor a lot of stuff, they would have the Catfight Girls, and they actually appeared at those. I remember WrestleMania 19 with Stacy Keibler and Tori Wilson for WWE. This is before what we see now, but this is like early Ruthless Aggression WWE before like Cena, Batista, and all those guys became really, really big. Oh, what a
Yeah.
time, folks! What a time! But I digress.
Ooh.
Right? Well, I think that's kind of like almost like a lost art in a way because with today's day and age, now mind you, everybody has an opinion, everything's subjective, right? Which is great. That's what makes us all unique. But a lot of people always kind of like downplay, like it's okay to have some sex appeal and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely.
I think it really mixes and it really showcases a lot with women's talents, such as yourself, and in different women's athletes in sports. So, I mean, it helps, but it also shows the overall craft in itself. And speaking of the overall craft, my goodness gracious, man, you're starting very much modeling. catfighting. You have a very multifaceted background, if you will, of what we get to see and showcase of yourself, Miss Sunny Ray. So let's start from the beginning here. We'll talk about the modeling side of things because fetish modeling, big industry, really encompasses a lot to one's preference. So for you, how
Mm-hmm.
did that modeling side get into fruition? What made you want to say right there into modeling?
Well, to be honest, I kind of actually started out as a stripper.
Right?
I was selling life insurance at the time. Life insurance wasn't selling, bills need to be paid. So it kind of just needed money, last resort. So I started stripping, never did before. I will say I was the worst stripper. I do not know how to be sexy and all that. I was the worst. That lasted about 2 months. One of my first days there, the manager there, he'd been there forever. He's a photographer. Came up to me, said, "Hey, have you ever modeled?" I said, "No, I've always wanted to. Just never knew where to start." So we kind of did some trade shoots and everything. He got me going, on that platform, and then it just kind of took off from there. Did the stripping on the side a little bit, and then I was able to do modeling full time, and then I was doing just like lingerie, swimsuit, kind of just tame stuff. Um, and then my first like fetish modeling, I guess you would say, would be the cat fight. So that kind of opened me into the world of fetish industry, all these different possibilities. And I, did a bondage shoot and absolutely loved it and was just like, okay, forget the lingerie. Like I'm going straight fetish, whatever I can do. I love this. So yeah, that's what I've been focusing on is bondage, cat fighting, and feet fetish kind of stuff recently.
Okay, we got to talk about this. First and foremost, we go from life insurance and then we go to strip. No, no. Well, here's what's cool about this, and I'm going to say right now. First of all, people, let's not downgrade the fact that people say what they will about stripping and what have you. Like you talk
Mm-hmm.
about, it's money. People got to get to pay. You got to pay your bills. But at the end of the day, it's still a job. And let's just put that
Mm-hmm.
out there. It's still a job. A lot of people got to do what we got to do. But also at the same time, talk about being the worst stripper. And I'm going to say this right now. We talk about internal and external beauty. Looking as a woman like yourself, I'm going to say right now, the sex appeal, the real deal sex appeal, I'm kind of shocked to say and hear you say that you were the worst stripper. Like, it was like if you had to grade yourself on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, one being the lowest, where would you rate yourself?
Oh, that's rough. I would probably say I was like a 2 or a 3. So I was there probably 2 months total,
Yeah.
like full time. I probably gave like 7 or 8 lap dances the whole time. The rest of the time, like I sat with guys and we just watched sports and talked about life kind of.
Okay.
So yeah, I will gladly name myself as the world's worst stripper.
Okay. So
Yeah.
well, you see now, okay, yeah, now you brought up a great point here because there are some guys that you just want to have. A lot of guys just want to watch sports with you, talk about life. You see, I like that because it's engaging, and first of all, it's all about customer service. So
Mm-hmm.
hey, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say that. You know what I'm saying? I've seen. I'll be honest with you, as a male, I've seen worse. But I mean, there's stuff like that where a lot of people can resonate and generate with that. So I wouldn't say that's that bad. You see, I would like that because it's engaging. So you would be all right in my book.
Oh, thank you. Okay, then I'll put it like at a 4 or 5 then.
See, you're very welcome. Well, here's the thing: you also have to, and we'll equate this to fetish modeling as we get back on the task here. But god dang it, man, and this also equates to life. If you can resonate and generate with someone, it doesn't matter how it is, because people nowadays, with the days of mental health and what we have going on, little words
Mm-hmm.
of encouragement or conversation and interaction can really make somebody's day, and that's what it's about.
Definitely, definitely. And they leave and go home to their families and everything, and they relaxed and feel better. Then I'm doing something right, I guess.
Hey, there you go. Like I said, that's the positives coming in there, folks. It's the positive.
Exactly.
But yeah,
There we go.
right. But yes, so life insurance, stripping, modeling, fetish modeling. All right, let's talk about this here. So, with the world of modeling, I think every woman comes in different shapes and sizes. And it's wonderful to see from the imagery, the beautiful imagery standpoint of set photos and lingerie, what have you. How amazing it for you to see, speaking as a woman yourself and seeing the overall industry as it is, that we have so many different beautiful women of shapes and sizes really showcasing their talents and really going out there and saying, hey, this is me. I got my voluptuosity factor. It's my sex appeal. Boom, right out to the masses. What do you think about how modeling has really evolved over the years?
I absolutely love it. I actually was talking to a friend a couple weeks ago, and we were talking, 10, 15 years ago, I probably would have been considered like a plus size model.
Mhm.
Um, not even like model, fashion model, whatever you want to call it, whatever kind of model. I personally would have been pinched out. They've let down all those walls. Especially the fetish industry, it's so welcoming of, like you said, women of all shapes and sizes, especially catfighting. I'm built pretty muscular, so I never thought that I was going to be able to do something like this. But then, especially with the catfighting and anything that you can showcase your strength, those women, I'm just like blown away to see how many muscular, masculine built women that are doing this, and it's amazing. I love it.
Well, see, first of all, there's also something for everybody. And a lot of guys, myself included, we like a lot of girls that are very muscular. Now, here's what's the funny part about it. Back in the day, to where we are now in the year 2022, a lot of that
Mhm.
consider, and a lot of people would consider that, and I hate this term because I've heard it played around a lot, mannish, which is ridiculous because we can have a lot of beautiful women with some muscles on it, and it's good. Also, you talk about the voluptuosity factor. Some would call it
Mhm.
BW. There's something for everybody, but also at the same time, a lot of guys like a lot of girls with the curves. Curves, the word spin the verb, to quote Blackstreet. No diggity, no doubt. So there's appealingness to a lot of great things. And I also look at it from a stance too, as well. Like you talk about, we talked about really modeling and how we see in sessions and customs. It's stuff like that that needs to be in that. And I think a lot of days when the world where we need more equality and we need more, less judgment and open mindedness, I think it brings a great, great positive light and an overall feel to what we get to see in people who really want to encourage said path and go into said endeavor.
Oh, definitely. 100%. I couldn't agree more.
And from, I mean, it's really interesting to see, like, I mean, with the fetish industry, like FetCon is a big thing with people all different preferences. You get to meet and fans and really have that engagement. And I mean, you talk about fetish modeling with, I've seen a lot of your tickle videos as well, because folks, if you guys want to see some feet tickling and just the overall tickle fetish, which again, if you really look at that and you look at the verbatim of that and how I just said that, like, guys like the tickle fetish or girls do a lot of
Yeah.
the tickling content. There's something that really is encompassing and capturing about a tickle fetish.
Oh, I love it. And it's so funny because, like, okay, I will not lie, I have huge feet. Like,
Okay.
we used to joke that, like, if the boat ran out of battery or the gas or whatever, like, I'd be the one to paddle us to shore because my feet are huge. They're size 10. Like, they're like, I would put them up on the screen, but they are size 10 and not even like skinny size 10s. Like, they are size 10 wide. So probably like 10 and a half. So I was always super insecure about them. And then once I booked my first feet fetish shoot, it was just, I like called up my family and I was like, you'll never believe what I'm about to do. And they were just, I thought it was not going to be good to have big feet because I've always got picked on for it, always been super insecure about them. But once um, FTKL, he saw my feet. He's like, this is perfect. You have the perfect feet for this. So I was just mind blown that I never would think that my feet would be called perfect for anything. But yeah, it was just mind blowing when I did that shoot at FetCon.
I will just say this right now. I'm going to put an image into people's heads because we've seen a lot of these topics focused in popular culture and in TV shows. So you're kind of like that episode of Full House where Michelle was like really thinking about her feet and the big feet. For those that remember that episode of Full House, you know what I'm saying back.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like that. But you see, that's very interesting that you bring that up because you look at like in the mid 2000s when Nickelodeon had Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. There was an episode.
Yeah.
It was like when the girl had the episode, like she was too tall. You know what I'm saying? It's like Godzilla, for God's sake. So I mean, we all
Mm-hmm.
have that insecurities, but I mean, I get it, and I think what's great about that too is you got out of your comfort zone and you also showcased, and really developed into that new fetish. Sometimes you got to try it.
Oh, definitely. That's what I say. You gotta try everything at least once. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If you end up loving it, then you just built a new pathway to some more fun. That's how I did with my bondage shoot. I wanted to try it one time, and halfway through the shoot, I was like, I think you just unlocked a whole new world for me. Thank you. So yeah, you always got to try something, everything at least once.
very interesting as well in that realm because you look at like bondage and you look at dominatrix stuff and S&M. Like for me, again, like it goes back to like MTV before they had all reality shows when it actually played music. I don't mean to say that, but let's call it spade a spade. But you look at like MTV
Yeah.
back in the day when you had like True Life and all those series, like there was an episode about bondage and dominatrix and stuff and what people are really into. Like I was 12 when that episode aired. So you look at that as a 12-year-old from that perspective, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? You kind of like are really like, taking it all in. But as you get older, you realize, hey, it's not that bad. And a lot of people can really like, get into it, like whips and stuff like that. There's something for everybody, but also at the same time, it's storytelling because we see that a lot. And if you can put that content and that storytelling in itself, you have a hell of a bondage film.
Oh, definitely, 100%.
And I mean, for you, like, I mean, but we've seen the bondage clips, which folks check her out with her clips and content, Sunny Ray on Twitter. But god dang, man, again, the showcasing of being tied up, the overall whole nine there. I got to say, in your films, it's the representation of your presentation. But I dug it. I thought you did a great job with what you did from the bondage side of things.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. But yeah, I think a lot of people can really learn from that. And looking at the catfighting side of things, first and foremost, you with your hot temper, and we're talking about deep in the heart of Texas here, man. It's that fiery stuff. You know what I'm saying? You got that fiery, dare I say, squirreliness about you. No, and I mean this in the utmost sincerity and respect. It's like you have to have that. It's like punch, kick, strike, boom, and that's what you have to have with catfighting to put on the great content that you see there. And we talked about your bout with Vika, but god dang, man, you need that. And again, a slept-on art is catfighting, but also at the same time, it opens up a broad new world that people don't even realize in the work that goes into it behind the scenes to what we see in front of the screen. It's really something that a lot of people really get to learn about. Really, what goes into a great catfight.
Definitely.
Now, for me,
Definitely.
I mean, we'll talk about this here as well. For you behind the scenes as well, getting into it, like you're excited. You're going against Bella Inc. Bella Inc.'s done Lingerie Fighting Championship. We mentioned she's done sessions as well, has that background. You have your striker in your own round there, Miss Sunny Ray, with your grappling and what have you. I think you too, it's that systematic dissection, it's that joint manipulation, it's attacks to the body, it's attacks all around, all uptown, all around. We'll be here all day. So for you, I think from that aspect, I think you can concur with me that is what's really going to make this cat fight. And for you, we talk about your excitement level and everything through the roof. But for you, what can we expect going into that cat fight? What are we thinking as far as like strikes, kicks? Now, don't give it all away here, but what are we thinking and how you're going to approach this?
Oh, that's a tough one. I'd say I'm just gonna wing it. But I don't know. I'm just gonna use my overall strength, go from there. May try and flip her like I did Vika, may not. I don't know yet. Yeah, just use my overall strength really and just go from there.
But you see, I think what's great about it too is, and I mean, you look in the sessions world and customs, everybody loves a little lift and carry. So sometimes you gotta, and I'll put this bluntly and excuse my language, sometimes you gotta lift a bitch. So I mean, hey, if Wayne Brady could choke a bitch, sometimes you gotta lift a bitch. So I mean, right?
I need to put that on a shirt.
Sometimes you gotta lift a bitch. Sometimes you gotta lift a bitch. Putting in merchandise, baby.
I love it. Exactly. I need to put that on a shirt. I love it.
Hey, but I think also as well too, and I think a lot of people can gravitate towards that as well because you look at clientele, you look at fetishes. A lot of guys, and I'll say this right now, seeing as everything that goes into the work, a lot of guys like the old lift and carry, like that strength of a beautiful, dominant woman such as yourself and many others encompassed and encaptured here. We like to get a little lift ski, you know what I'm saying? We like that power game, if you will. So I mean, it works, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But my goodness gracious. And I mean, we're going into this October 9th, Bella Inc. Sunny Ray. Folks, Bella Inc. And now let's talk about Bella here for a second here as well, because she just came off about that rough and rowdy, getting into her actual, like, real, like, fighting game here, stepping it up, really exploring other ventures. So, I mean, you have that debut. She's like all over the place. And I talk about the comparison here, the multifaceted between yourself and Bella Inc. Man, like it's great to see like her evolution, your evolution, like kind of parallel just where y'all want to go. But how amazing is that to see just Bella Inc. just rising up to the streets, if you will?
She's doing awesome. She is absolutely killing it.
Right. And I mean, from what we get to see as well, and I think this is also a comparison here, strong women, combative natures, all different art forms. It's what we need to see. Just women, and I'm going to say this right now, speaking as a man, y'all are kicking our ass. And I mean that with the most sincere respect. Y'all are kicking our ass because here's the thing. We get to see what a lot of people compare to a very male dominated world, but then we see women like yourself come, and it's great to see the evolution in sports. Now, mind you, everybody has had their setbacks and their challenges and their overall obstacles, but god dang, man, here y'all all, and y'all are taking over. You're kicking our butts. You're kicking our butts.
We're trying.
Well, I think you're doing a superb job, and I think a lot of the women, and shout out to the ladies in general, man, of all different shapes, sizes, sports, what have you. There's a lot of dominant world out there and a lot of dominant women. And Sunny Ray, bada bing, bada boom, you're in it, and it's great to see your progression and your continued succession along the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Now, I'm going to say this, folks, one last time here. Bella Inc., Sunny Ray, it's October 9th. It's going down. Meet me in the mall. It's going down. I'll put it out here, right here, front and center, if you will. So, Sunny Ray, we're going into the bout. It's going to be great. I can't hype it up enough. So, for you, do you have any final words for Bella Inc.? What do you got to say to her? The time is now. Go for it.
Get ready, Bella. I'm coming for you.
Short, sweet, and to the point. She's coming, folks. Y'all should be coming out. Y'all should be checking this out. Go back and check out her bout with Vika for Sweet Fights. Great production, great content, and that's what it's about. Last thing I will ask you before I have other stuff here, I want to ask for the final questions here. You're doing your thing on OnlyFans as well. How amazing are these platforms? Because we see from the adult side of things, or just in general from the content side of things. There's OnlyFans, there's many vids, there's so many different platforms to showcase that sexiness, showcase that interaction. For you, how you digging on the OnlyFans? Because you're putting out great content. And what are your thoughts on the OnlyFans platform? Because boom, it's amazing to see the rise of it, right?
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I think it's great. I'm working on putting more stuff out there for me. I think it's a great avenue to put content out there for everybody.
And you know what it is too, a lot of people talk about it like going through COVID, which I mean there's still some of it out there. It's not technically all the way gone, but I look at it from a stance too as well. From where we were in 2020 to 2021, we all needed to be positively proactive, right? Because if we just sit behind our door, we're going to be driving ourselves nuts, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like the walls are closing in and we just got to get out. You know what I'm saying? That urge, that itch, if you will. So I mean, for a lot of content creators, OnlyFans has been a big help even during the pandemic.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
And for you, I mean, you have that sexiness, that vibe with the lingerie and everything that you put into your images, which is a lot of beautiful imagery. But god dang, man, I think one of the other big parts, and I mentioned the interaction side of things with the fans, how important and how key is that? Because you get to see the turnout from the fans on OnlyFans. How amazing is that? Because there's a lot of great interaction you can have there.
It's amazing. It's still just like mind blowing to me to be able to talk to these people whenever, about anything if I want to. And that they actually reach out to me. It's awesome. I love it.
And I mean, it's one of those things too, as well. And I think when you have the platform, and what I always love to discuss with OnlyFans is because everybody has that stigma, as I put in air quotes, everybody has that stigma that it's always about, oh, it's just nudity and stuff. And it's like, no, there's like non nude stuff that people could go into. That's every time everybody thinks of OnlyFans, they go right to nudity. It's like, no, if you really explore the avenue, really look at what the content goes into it, not everything has to be nude because everybody likes a different thing. And not everything has to be nude and from the sexual side of things. Also, at the same time, man, you know what I'm saying? Sex sells.
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, I think you can agree with me on this as well. And I think what we look at from a stance with OnlyFans and social media, like social media has its good, has its bad, but also at the same time, like where we were back in the day to where we are now, how amazing is it just to market ourselves from this platform? Because it works. It's a tool and it helps us from a promotional side of things, even though sometimes social media can censor the living shit out of us.
Oh, definitely, definitely. A Twitter, I got my first account blocked after 2 weeks, so I'm
Oh,
still kind of about Twitter.
you see,
I know. I
okay, we
didn't even yet.
well, what was it that they blocked you for? What was it just like, oh, well, because everybody has the guidelines. What happened?
I don't. I think like I had lingerie on there,
Yeah.
and I guess maybe because it was white lingerie or see-through lingerie, I don't even know. So I got blocked. Emailed them like several times, and then literally that. So I was like, okay, whatever. I'll just start a new one. Worked back to getting my followers and stuff, and then literally the next morning I get on there, and there's like naked and like show it off. Like if you got it, flaunt it. That's my all for it. but there's like girls that are naked doing like sex stuff, and I'm like, what about me? Why me? I don't know. I don't know. They just didn't like me, I guess. I don't know.
First of all, I have a new appreciation for you with this. You got it, flaunt it. Because I see, I love that attitude. And here's why I put that out there. Because not only is it just a very, some people say it's a cliche, saying and a phrase, but I mean, it's true. If you got it, flaunt it. You do, I say, shake what your mama gave you, to put another one out there. See, I like that mindset. You have a great mindset with that. I have a new appreciation. So thank you for putting out there because it's very true. But God dang, man, that's another great point because if Twitter can allow porn and you see like a porno. Like, listen to this porno. But if a photo of like see-through lingerie or lingerie that gets taken down, that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah. I was just like, I screenshot it to like 3 different producers, and I'm like, what? Like, are you serious? Like, it was just unbelievable. But whatever. Finally got my followers back after like a month. So working on it.
Hey, YouTube does the same thing. I had to start my YouTube channel over, and I'm like, here's the problem, folks. Thumbnails or whatever it may be, your website, like it could be a clear as day website for a person, but if they see like nudity on it, oh god, that's what we're in a day and age. And we talk about you got it flaunted, even in Instagram has its pain in the asses as well. But we're in a day and age where it's like if you show a little skin, that's the problem. And I really think that needs to stop. We were talking about the open-mindedness, and you could concur with me. Like, if you got it, flaunt it, but also showing a little skin or a bikini or lingerie. Come on now. TikTok even does that too. Sometimes you got lingerie. Oh my God, you're hurting the community. Am I really? Am I really hurting your community guidelines? Really? Because
right, exactly.
Oh, and I've noticed that too with TikTok because if you put like a collage of stuff that you work with and there's maybe like a bikini or like from a photo shoot, a professional photo shoot, you'll see it. And I'm sure folks can see it with what they post on TikTok. It's like, oh man, we're trying to keep it safe and the guidelines and derp derp derp. I'm like, what's unsafe about what I just posted? That's the thing. You ask those questions, and it's either one thing you'll get an appeal, and boom, you'll get it, taken care of, or they just shut you the fuck down. Too much shutting you the fuck down. That's what I say.
Exactly. It's
right.
ridiculous. But whatever.
Well, hey, you got your Twitter count back, which is a good. Well, I mean, you got another one going, but I mean, that's still good. You got your followers back. That's a good thing.
Yeah. Luckily, a lot of them were like Catfight. So my Catfight producers were just like, retweet. Go get her back, please. So they've been great with that.
Well, first of all, besides sweet fights and all the cat, shout out to the Catfight producers here, man, bringing all these free cat fights and these badass women together, putting out that content for you. And I mean, any producer as well. Like we were talking about what goes behind the scenes and what goes on camera. You got to give it up to the producers because of the professional lighting and really makes you ladies look good. Emphasis on the good. So you got to give a shout out and love to them for what we get to see on the content side of things, right?
Oh, definitely. 100%.
I'm going to say right now, another thing that I just have to go back to because you said something that was very operative and apparent where we were talking about curves, the word, and how you were talking about the curviness back then and boom, boom, boom with all the different sizes. I'm going to say another thing, and I believe this is already on a t-shirt. And no, it's not lift a bitch. I'm going to say right now, down with the thickness. That's a thing.
Oh, yes, 100%.
I mean, I put Disturbed as one of my favorite rock bands. You got Down with the Sickness, the classic from the early 2000s. Put some Down with the Thickness on it, right? Yes.
There we go. That's gonna have to be like one of my warm up songs now.
Really?
Thanks for that.
Oh,
for sure.
All right. You see, like you give me some Down with the Sickness. You give me some Stricken. Hell, put on some Indestructible. I'm in there, right? It's Disturbed. It's Disturbed.
100%.
Yes. And you actually just brought something up that was actually going to be my follow-up. So we talk about the fitness side of things, which first and foremost, showcasing it. I like what you're doing. I like your style. You're putting in that work, going into your cat fight and just all around feeling good about yourself. You're feeling yourself. So for you, Miss Sunny Ray, like a lot of people don't even realize this, and you can equate with me on this. Man, a lot of people don't realize the fitness side that goes into this, the training, and everybody just looks at it from the sensual side of things, the sexiness. But goddamn, man, you have to be in the right cardio, the right vascular shape. It's like, goddamn, man, you have to put a lot of work into this. The fitness is so key in anything that you do.
Oh, yes. I learned the hard way about the cardio. I hate cardio. I hate it with a passion.
Right.
I try and do 10 minutes max. So I learned that the hard way fighting Vika, that I definitely need to up that. So that's what I've been doing for sure, upping that while training.
Hey,
Learned that the hard way.
hey, sometimes you got to lift it. I'm good with that, but I'll be right there with you. Cardio is not my thing as well, and I think it's a lot of people can relate because cardio is not everybody's thing either. It kicks our ass.
Oh, definitely. I'll be like walking by the cardio machines. I'm like, oh, they're too full. Let me just go back to the weights. Darn.
Just
Yeah,
just go back.
100%.
Well, right. Like you go back to the weights, get yourself a little treadmill action, do something that doesn't involve cardio for right now. I hear you. I hear you. But
Exactly.
and I think for you as well, and I think the other thing like I mentioned about fitness, like we talk about COVID and the pandemic and how it really opened one's mind and really got people to be creative, so to speak. Like home workouts were like a big thing, like doing the thing. I mean, you have to stay in shape as far as the fitness side of things. So I'm gonna ask you because I love asking this question on the fitness side of things. Were home workouts a big thing for you during the pandemic? Because not a lot of gyms were open. So were you doing the thing as far as home workouts and really being creative in the outside of the box?
Yes, so I was lucky enough to I was living with my mom at the time, and she was a bodybuilder when she was my age, so that I kind of followed in her footsteps when I was younger. So we actually had weights, a bench machine, a squat rack, all in our garage. So it was just like, if we didn't feel like going to the gym that day or something like that, we would just go out to the garage. So I was very lucky to be able to just have that. And then I was living in a beautiful neighborhood by the lake. So that was my running. Um, and then, yeah, so I had a pretty good setup for being an impromptu home workout.
Okay, first and foremost here. Now, first of all, let's give a shout out to the moms and shout out to the parents here because you see, moms being a bodybuilder, giving you that overall positive influence. See, I can respect that. I love it. Shout out to the moms,
Mm-hmm.
female empowerment. But god dang, man, you see, you learn that, and you get that tutelage, so to speak. There's the word for everybody, the tutelage, if you will, from what you see with your mom. You take that into as you go on with your life. See, I can appreciate that, and I mean, I think from that stance as well. Mind you, social media, we're all on our phones, but sometimes, when I mention positively proactive, it's a nice escape in a way just to like shut off your phone, shut off your mind, and just focus. Put a little headphone ski in, and you're in your own world and you're doing the damn thing, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, everybody knows that if I'm not answering at this certain time of the day, that I'm at the gym. If unless it's an emergency, do not like call me, message me. I will call you when I'm done. Like, leave me alone. That is my me time. That is my focus time.
Now I'm going to ask you as well because we talked about disturbed with your overall disturbed thickness and sickness here, with your overall with your overall MP3 and your songs going into the gym. So I got to ask you, what else is on your playlist, man? What are some of those gym tunes that get you in the zone, man?
So my overall favorite band is Nefx. They're kind of newer. They've been around a couple years. Hollywood Undead.
Nice.
Let me see here. Hinder is on there. 3 Days Grace. Let's see. Trying to think. That new, he's newer. Bryce Savage, he's on there. Adam Jensen,
Yep.
he's kind of newer, I think. Trying to think who else. A little bit of Skill Ricks is on there. Um, yeah, I would say those are the main ones on there right now.
Yeah, you see, that's a variety right there, and I can respect that because I think you have to be very eclectic in your taste. So if you want to throw on some Hinder, put on some Lips of an Angel. You know what I'm saying? Put on some How Long Till This Goes Away, huh?
Exactly.
Put on
That's my treadmill, my dying music when I'm doing cardio. No, I'm just kidding.
what was the other one they had? I think it was So Much Better Than Me. Yeah, I mean, come on, how can you not like it, right? And I mean,
Exactly.
oh, I get it. I mean, from the days of, so I was in middle school when 3 Days Grace, were doing their thing. Like I remember like watching, for those that remember Much Music slash Fuse here in the States, when I Hate Everything About You came out and just the overall Why Do I Love You, just the passion in his voice. And I mean, you have Riot. We could be here all day with some 3 Days Grace. I could be just like you. Oh my,
100%.
right? Oh, see, I can respect that because that is new wave and that is punk from the mid 2000s. And I think a lot of people, if you've not heard some 3 Days Grace, pump it because it's some good stuff, right?
Definitely.
Oh, see, now you're taking me back to my youth here. I can respect that because here's the funny thing about it too, and like we're talking about all these bands and incorporating some of the newer artists, we can relate with this generation, with today's generation. But the nostalgia and also songs that you listen to when you're young and how you grow older and how they still stand the test of time, like that's just amazing and beautiful in itself, right?
Oh, definitely, definitely. Like I have younger nieces, and my brother and I will play songs that like from when we were younger, and they're like, "This is amazing," and we're just like, Oh, awesome. Okay, we're definitely playing this more because we're just keeping that like the older songs coming in instead of the newer stuff, and it's great.
Well, it's so funny. Like as a kid growing up in the '90s, right? Like I love all types of music. I'm very eclectic, much as yourself. So I look at it
Hmm.
from a stance too as well. Like the three top boy bands of the '90s: Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, 98 Degrees. So you have the boy band craze of the '90s, right? And it's so funny. Like with today's generation, they see like a Justin Timberlake, right? They see Justin Timberlake and they just know the solo stuff. They have no
Hmm.
clue that he was in NSYNC, which is like I understand it because like they're born in the 2000s, but it's just
Hmm.
like it's so crazy just to think because what you grow up with as a kid and then you see today's generation, it's just nuts, right?
Oh, definitely 100%. And there's some like I'll hear new stuff and I'm just like, how is this even like popular? Like y'all just have no idea. Y'all need to go back like 15, 20 years and listen to stuff.
Well, it's
Y'all have nothing on this.
Well, it's the day and age where, like, when we grew up, like, there was making the video on MTV and there was the top whatever countdown it was 10, 20, what have you. Like, I remember coming home from school, like, MTV, you had TRL with Carson Daly, and then you switch it over to BET, you have Rap City with Big Tig, and you got 106 in Park. Like, music
Hmm.
countdowns, music. And now everything is just on Vivo or YouTube or what have you. So, I mean, it's easier at our fingertips, but it's like, it's not the same, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Oh, definitely 100%. Now I have to ask you,
Yes.
are you a fan of Nickelback or no?
Okay, now you see you're gonna put me on the spot here. So a lot of people do that because it's like it's the cool thing to hate Nickelback. I don't hate Nickelback. I got Nickelback CDs. Like I remember.
Okay, we can be friends. We can definitely be friends then.
I mean, I've made fun of him from time to time because Chad Kroger has that voice. It sounds like this. Never made it as a wise man. Like I could do the imitation of Chad Kroger, but I don't hate Chad Kroger. You know what I'm saying? It's fun to
Yeah.
make. It's fun to make fun of them, but I think as an overall band, they're talented. Like I remember as a kid, like I loved Hero with him and Josie Scott from Saliva from Spider Man. Like how you
Hmm.
like their first album, like Silver Side Up. You had How You Remind Me. It's too bad. It's too bad, and all those songs like that. And then Someday and then friggin' like it's got to be someone for me out there, and then you move forward. I know WWE has used a lot of Nickelback in the past. Like actually, one of their songs, "Burn It to the Ground Tonight," was one of the themes for WWE Raw back in the day. So
Hmm.
you grew up, and if you're a wrestling fan, like they've used Nickelback, they've used Stain, they probably used 3 Days Grace, and I probably don't remember, but they've used a lot of the groups and bands that we've grown up with as far as like pay-per-view songs to get you hyped for the event. So I was never a Nickelback hater, and I think as far as Nickelback goes, like you can go from 2001 to where they are now. People can relate and they still stand the test of time. I mean, they're still going. So, I mean, if you must be doing something right, right? After 20 plus years of Nickelback.
Oh, definitely 100%.
Oh God. Well, a lot of people. Here's the debate I had because I remember as a kid with my dad. So Carlos Santana, who loves us a little Santana, put on some him and Rob Thomas with some smooth. You know what I'm saying? A little Moscow
Hmm.
Ranch, the game of love. So there was two versions of his song. So why don't you and I get together? For those that remember that one, two versions. There was one with Alex Band from The Calling. From those that remember The Calling, I'll go wherever you will go. And there was one version with Chad Kroger. And I'm going to say right now, the Chad Kroger version is a bit better than the Alex Band one. No disrespect to Alex Band because it was good, but the Chad Kroger version is better than the Alex Band one. There's two versions
I
of it.
gotta, yeah.
I
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So if you've not heard it with yourself, Sunny Ray, or whoever hasn't heard it, check out the Chad Kroger version with Santana because it's a good one. It's good. It's good. But yeah, Nickelback. You see, now you're putting me on the spot here because I do have some Nickelback CDs in my collection, so I appreciate that. Well, here's the problem, and we'll get into some Nickelback here for a minute. A lot of people see, I like you for this. Okay, we go from Nickelback, and a lot of people call this band Nickelback Light, Theory of a Dead Man, because they think the guy who's the lead singer kind of sounds like Nickel. If you put on like you, it sounds very similar. See, I
I
was
could see that.
yeah, but I was like, I'm still a fan of Theory of a Dead Man. Like they had some good songs. They had No Surprise.
Yeah.
They could come between us. That was the other one. We're not meant to be. Like Theory of a Dead Man was still good, or some people call him Toad, which I think is very funny because of the abbreviation. It spells Toad, which I think is quite funny. But yeah,
I'm never gonna be able to see their name the same now. That's
oh,
awesome.
oh my god, that's how I used to see people talk about it. I'm like, you could just call him Theory of a Dead Man. You don't have to call him Toad because you ruin the mystique for me. It's like, oh, Theory of a Dead Man. So that's kind of badass. It's something new for a rock band, and then they just put it as Toad, fucking up the whole trajectory of the band. But no, in all serious, but in all seriousness, that's what we have, and I think it's the evolution of music, the evolution of the craft,
Hmm.
so to speak. And I think one of my favorite quotes, and I think you can agree with me on this: life is an art form. We're all applying our crafts. That's what we're doing. We're all here to apply our
Mhm.
crafts.
Definitely.
All right, Miss Catfighter, Miss Badassery, which model multifaceted, not the worst stripper in the world. I'm not going to say that because you can relate to a lot of people. I'm going to put that asterisk, not the worst stripper in the world. Put that. So,
Thank you. I'll update my title.
yo, man, it's straight up with that, and I mean that with the most sincerity and respect. You see, I can appreciate that. A lot of people need to be more, friendlier and a little more customer servicey. You know what I'm saying? I can respect that. Right with the customer.
Mhm.
I can respect that, but no, you're very welcome. But god dang, man, Catfight's coming up, folks. Bella Inc. Sunny Ray. It's October 9th. I'm only going to say it only 10 more times because you should see it. I feel like QVC, for God's sake. Bye, 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 bye. So, so for you, Miss Sunny Ray, one of the things I always like to ask is because you've delved into multifacets, modeling, fetish modeling, cat fight. You're ready to rip some ass, take some names,
Mhm.
kick them in the body shots. I see you. So for you, being as someone who's been in the industry now, really incorporated and really continue to learn in your own right, what advice would you yourself give to a lot of these gay little girls, a lot of these young ladies getting involved in the cat fighting game, doing the modeling thing, really exploring endeavors? What advice would you give to these ladies coming up on the frame here?
Oh, I would just say work hard, be tough, don't be whiny, suck it up, move on, just do it. Just do it. You just gotta do it, honestly.
Put the friggin' check mark over here like it's Nike. Do it. I like your style. Simple and effective, straight to the point. Sometimes we need that, and I'll be honest, a lot of us need that kick in the ass. So I will say this, folks: life is an art form. Apply your crafts, inspire people with your words and your actions, and just do it. As Sunny Ray just said, just do it. See, your name is Sunny for a reason. You're bringing a lot of sunshine to a lot of people's days, huh? See?
Thank you. I'm trying. I try to.
I see you. Okay. So before we do close this out, as I always do with this show, please promote the social media. You're back on that Twitter front. You got your Instagram game. Promote the social medias. Where can we follow you?
So on Twitter, I am the underscore Sunny Ray. Instagram, same thing, the underscore Sunny Ray. And then on OnlyFans, I am on your fave underscore Sunny Ray. And that'll be Sunny with an I.
All right. So how many times do people always put the Y or instead of the I? It's just put the Y like.
Couple times. Mostly whenever Sunny was actually my stripper name too.
Okay.
So that's how I got the Sunny Ray.
All right. You see, I can respect that. Apply it to the craft, taking the name, using it as the stage name. You see, marketing 101. I like that. Very nice.
Yeah, I try. And it was just funny. We were having a lunch meeting one day with one of the photographers, and he was like, "Well, what do you want your stage name to be?" And I was like, "Well, let's just run with Sunny. I like it. What about Sunny Ray?" Like joking around with him. He's like, "I love it. We're going with that." And I was, "Oh, okay." I was joking, but sure, let's do it. So that's just where we got it from. But yeah, I've gotten the Sunny with an Y a couple times, and I try and not be like bitchy about it, but like I'm like, no, it's with an I. Like I spell it this way for a reason. Be cool. Go with it, please. And so yeah, I've gotten it a couple times.
No, I get it. I mean, add the I, it adds the coolness factor and the marketability, being the representation of your presentation. And you see, I'm going to put this out there right now. That's another upscale as far as the stripper side of things. Because, and I mean this because we talk about representation of your presentation. You need to have a good name. And Sunny Ray, first of all, is a great name. And I think that's an awesome name because
Yeah.
you're welcome.
Yeah.
No, you're welcome. And I mean, there's a lot of people where it's just like they can use like some name and it just sounds like, okay, it's strippery, but also there's a word for you, strippery. There's that name where it just you can see it, the person's a stripper, but also at the same time, and again, not judging, but at the same time, you could also use that for different avenues. So if you could apply it in one way, you could apply it in another avenue. It works, it sticks, it fits.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely.
My goodness gracious, with this Sunny Ray taking it up a notch. Very multifaceted human being, folks. Really to go out there, kick ass and take names. I see you with your swag on 100 over there, Miss Sunny Ray. So once more, before we close this out, you said a little bit going after Bella Inc. You're coming for her. You're ready to take her down, kick some ass, take some names. Any other thing that you want to say to Bella Inc. before we get out of here, my friend?
Just be ready.
Stay. Well, here's the thing here. Less is more, number one. And number two, you just got to be ready. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna let your actions speak louder than your words. I see.
Exactly.
Like
exactly. I'll let my strength do the talking.
Boom, boom, boom. I want you in my room. Somebody put on some Banga Boys. All right, folks. Thank you guys so much for listening to another edition of On the Michael Mike. We've shot the breeze on a lot of different topics here in today's forum and really given the chance for Sunny Ray to put her name out there. And really, she is going to be a big name. Please check out her fights with Sweet Fights. Check out this fight with Bella Inc. Support Bella Inc. Support Sunny Ray. And most importantly of all, support Sarah Brooke for producing the. Shout out to Sarah Brooke for producing what's going to be an extraordinary cat fight between Bella Inc. and Sunny Ray. And as I always say to close out this show, beauty, strength, and dominance, the three key elements that make women the work of art that they are. And Sunny Ray, Sunny with an I include you with those sentiments. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Here's another one for y'all to peep. It's called MIKE on the MIC.